a total of 1.2 million vaccines were to be given to Ghana. Basically, the AstraZeneca vaccines, 1.2 million. A few hours ago, I just got confirmation from the president that, this has increased from 1.2 million to 1.5 million. And steps have already been taken. In fact, according to the president, he's dispatching a plane immediately to go to Germany to take delivery of the 1.5 million doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. I think in the course of last week, Friday, if I'm not mistaken, the presidential advisor on health made it known at least the American government has also given the country 1.5 million doses of the Moderna vaccine. All in all, I think we should be hitting around 5 million vaccine doses so far, and I believe at this particular stage, I think it's a good initiative that has been undertaken by the government of President Akufo-Addo towards helping to rid our country of COVID-19.
And that was the Director of Communications at the presidency addressing the media there, and that's also forms part of our health news, which is sponsored by Ernest Chemist. In other health news, more than half of the backlog of over 400,000 people awaiting their second shot of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccines are expected to take the jab starting tomorrow, Tuesday, 31st August. The nationwide exercise expected to end on Saturday is targeting people who received the first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccines from March 10 to 29 this year. The manager of the expanded program on immunization, Dr. Kwame Amponsa Achiano, in a phone interview said the country also expects over 300,000 doses by the middle of September.
For the general population, you would remember that those who received the vaccines earlier on, for those that received AstraZeneca between 1st and 9th March have already taken their second jab. So our next delivery is for the 10th to 29th March across all the regions, including the hotspots. And then also, as I did indicate, by equitable distribution, also targeting health workers across the rest of the regions. We are taking delivery of additional doses of AstraZeneca, approximately 350,000 doses. That will cover the rest of those who are waiting. I think the next week, maximum by middle of September, that we would have been done with that. We are even getting additional vaccines from within the COVAX again. That is approximately 750,000, which will start a new cohort. So for those who are waiting, by middle of September, we would have taken care of them.
Government is negotiating with major vaccine manufacturing companies globally to secure copyright to produce their own vaccines for COVID-19 and other infectious diseases. At a vaccine production stakeholder meeting in Accra, the Presidential Vaccine Committee said from situational analysis, $200 million is needed to help realize the country's vaccine production agenda. The plant is expected in the country before the end of 2021, while production is likely to begin in 2022.
Three local pharmaceutical companies, namely Danadams, Ernest Chemist, and Kinapharma, have secured a plant for the production of the vaccines. The Presidential Vaccine Manufacturing Committee, set up by President Akufo-Addo, is making the entire vaccine production a private sector-led initiative with effective regulation from government. In a phone interview, Secretary to the Presidential Vaccine Manufacturing Committee, Professor William Ampofu, says the manufacturing companies were selected on standard procedure. He said government is to determine a roadmap in Ghana which will include establishing a National Vaccine Institute which will work with some partners, including the FDA, to ensure compliance. When established, the Institute will forge the necessary strategies in terms of a financial roadmap, among others. Vaccines will roll out as soon as the companies meet the necessary international standards.
This is a startup company that is partnering with various German partners to produce or establish a fill-finish plant according to good manufacturing practice. What we, the committee, have done as charged by His Excellency is to determine a roadmap for vaccine manufacturing in Ghana. This roadmap is now being discussed with various stakeholders, and His Excellency is going to proceed to develop the necessary legal framework to establish a national vaccine institute. This institute will then facilitate all private sector driven work for vaccine manufacturing in Ghana. It will work with the FDA to enhance its capacity to monitor and regulate vaccine manufacturing in Ghana.
The move is part of a short-term measure towards vaccinating the population against the deadly COVID-19 virus.
And that was your health segment brought to you by Ernest Chemist. Now to some local stories. Abdul?
Well, the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Information, is seeking support from development partners to carry out media support programs in the country. The programs are to create a conducive and safe environment for media practitioners and also build their capacity.
At a meeting with development partners in Accra, Minister for Information, Mr. Kojo Oponkroma, said the contribution of the media in creating and sustaining functioning democracies and the potential it possesses as a catalyst for human development is key for the development of any country and therefore must be supported to work.
Already, the government has initiated 2 media development programs to address key challenges confronting Ghana's media landscape. The Media Capacity Enhancement Program is to provide continuous in-service training for media personnel across the country, while the Office of the Coordinated Mechanism for the Safety of Journalists focuses on creating a free and safe environment for journalists in the country. This is to do by investigating and dealing with complaints of attacks on journalists in the country. In spite of these interventions, there are still lapses in the practice of journalism in the country, which include the absence of a broadcasting law to regulate and sanitize the broadcasting sector, decline in reporting quality, lack of requisite resources, constant attacks on journalists, and poor working and conducive conditions. To address some of these challenges, the government, through the Ministry of Information, is soliciting for support from development partners to further strengthen the takeoff of the 2 initiatives.
The Ghanaian journalist, ladies and gentlemen, generally means well. He's only trying to do his job and to earn a living. She's only trying to contribute her quota to building a good society and doing so the best way that she knows. If we are truly interested in getting this all-important fourth estate to maintain and even build on the high standards, then the broader society needs to take an interest in how to assist the media with interventions towards these goals. We can do more in supporting the Ghanaian media than we do currently. Like the other estates of the realm that advocate for and genuinely deserve investments to improve the quality of their output, so too does the media in Ghana require relevant, timely, sustained investments to improve the quality of its output.
The chairman of the National Media Commission, Mr. Yaobu, entreated implementers of the initiatives not to repeat mistakes that were made in the past projects designed to develop journalism in the country.
At the end of the day, we blame ourselves also, including the GJA and the other partners, because indirectly, even as we wanted the fund to be sustainable and to be applied in some manner, we eventually took the laptops that were supplied. And so today, when people stand up and they want to look at it in derogatory terms, it means that we all must be smeared because we contributed indirectly to whether it was abuse of the use of the fund or whatever that it was, because some of the laptops, they never functioned beyond a few days, but we collected them. And so we must all accept responsibility, so that in looking forward, we must make our contributions such that at the end of the day, the effect that we want this thing to achieve will be achieved in very meaningful ways
The president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Afil Money, said support for the two initiatives will ensure that the Ghanaian media plays its watchdog role in a conducive environment. 3,436,095 Ghana cedis will be required annually to execute the initiatives.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says the New Patriotic Party faithful must challenge opposition propaganda against the government by making the numerous development projects executed by government known via social media and other communication channels. This is with the view to ensuring that the party retains power in 2024. Dr. Bawumia said the government is on course with making life easier for all with its social intervention programs such as NAPCO, Planting for Food and Jobs, among others. Dr. Bawumia was speaking at a capacity-building program for the Majority Caucus in Parliament and executives at Kwewunkwetia in the Eastern region.
It was a meeting of the Majority Caucus and executives. Participants were taken through intra-party unity and welfare issues, security concerns of the country towards the next elections, the utilization of parliamentary communication resources, and the development of a workable plan, among others. The Deputy Majority Leader, Mr. Alexander Apenyoma King, said some of the complaints of Ghanaians concerning the hardship of the economy are unfounded. However, there are some which must be tackled with all urgency. He charged his colleagues to make public the good work of government. The Vice President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, addressed the gathering.
For the next 3 days that this workshop will take place, I'm sure the Majority Caucus and the Executive Arm would reach consensus on how to pursue the communication of government policies and programs, how to brand the MPP administration, how to ensure intra-party cohesion, and how the parliamentary process and proceedings can be harnessed for the success of the MPP administration.
The General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Mr. John Boedu, called for cooperation among the Majority Caucus in Parliament. He called for a review of the performance of the party leaders and urged members not to connive with party executives at the constituencies to do wrong, but rather work hard to break the 8 years of rule cycle.
The synergy must be achieved at all levels. A slight break in this synergy will greatly affect the party's chances of breaking the 8, and we can't afford that. It is in the light of this that I find this program extremely useful, as it provides an opportune platform for the necessary party-government interaction, which is next to none, to boost our chances in 2024 and beyond.
At a media engagement in Accra on Monday, the National Democratic Congress says the only way to make the MPP government pay for what it terms underhand activities is to vote them out of power in the 2024 general elections. The NDC says by these acts, the party in power has unleashed untold economic hardships on Ghanaians. The NDC Director of Communications, Mr. Sami Jemfi, said the MPP government had no moral right to call former President Mahama corrupt. Mr. Jemfi was reacting to some allegations made by some members of the MPP against the former president.
Reminding the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia government that the current economic difficulties of Ghanaians are not the product of any imaginary or delusional fantasy of members of the opposition. The economic hardships Ghanaians from all walks of life are experiencing today are the direct effects of the mismanagement of the economy through reckless squandering of scarce resources to secure re-election in 2020, which has left our finances in shambles. A gallon of petrol, which used to sell at about 14, 15, 16 Ghana cedis, in December 2016, when we were leaving office, is today selling at almost 30 Ghana cedis. Today, the CD, which was selling at just about 4 Ghana cedis when we were leaving office, is selling at about 6 cedis, 10 pesos. And importers and exporters are crying. People of this country have not forgotten how President Akufo-Addo in the year 2018 sought to personally defraud the state by giving executive approval for the American innovation deal, the cost of which had been inflated by an amount of $800 million. The only motivation for President Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia, and the NPP to want to break the 8 in their own ways is to help them perpetuate this regime of corruption, naked thievery, ostentation, and impunity. Most of all, their wish is that in 2024, Ghanaians will give them another opportunity to cover up their bad deeds and continue to dim the torch of accountability while further enriching themselves and impoverishing the Ghanaian people. However, we are quite confident that come 2024, all well-meaning Ghanaians who wish to see the progress of our nation will join forces with us to break the 8 years of stealing, break the 8.
President Nana Akufo-Addo says his government will go all out to ensure that science, technology, engineering and mathematics education take fair roots in the country's education system. The president was speaking at the Jubilee House when 2 schools who have become world champions in robotics presented their trophies to him at the Jubilee House. The president reminded the students that they are empowered to engender change in Ghana due to their amazing display of talent on the world stage.
Highest honors on the world stage, making a mark in robotics. The 2 schools, Manfi Methodist Girls High School and Prempeh College, were at the seat of government to present their trophies to President Akufo-Addo after winning global competitions. Manfi Methodist Girls Senior High won in the 2020 World Robotics and Coding Competition held in 12 regional zones across the world. The team is made up of solely first-year students of the robotics club in the school. The 5 girls beat 11 teams and in the finals beat Avenue World School based in New York to emerge the world best in the World RoboFest champion and the first Lego leg national competition. This is the second time the school is achieving such a feat after winning the 2019 edition. The last from Prempeh College won 2 local awards in robotics at the Robotics Inspired Science Education Rise and RoboFest national competition. Prempeh College, also first-year student, went on to pick 22 trophies at the RoboFest International 2020 competition. Education Minister Dr. Yao Oseduchum was upbeat about the performance of the 2 schools.
So, Mr. President, needless to say that your investment is paying off. Robo Group are the groups that are building your STEM centers. They've trained teachers from around the country in readiness for the operation of the STEM centers. And they decided to test the grounds and test waters, and Ghanaian children have shown them that even before the STEM centers were open, they are ready.
Master David Nintan appealed to President Akufo-Addo to continue to give science and technology education priority attention.
STEM, we believe, when looked at critically, will help students develop key skills including problem solving, creativity, critical analysis, teamwork, initiative, effective communication, and digital literacy. The continual advances in technology are changing the way we students need to learn, connect, and interact every day. And such skills developed through STEM provide the foundations needed to succeed in this technological era.
President Akufo-Addo said talent such as what has been displayed by these Ghanaian students will enhance through STEM.
The people who began Silicon Valley were very, very young people at the time, not much older than you are. And they have changed the way our world works. So you have it in your power also to come and change the way Ghana works and change it for the better. I want to encourage you all to continue down this path and to say that everything possible that a government can do to make sure that STEM education in our country takes firm root. You know the plans that we have for establishing STEM schools, model STEM schools in all the various parts of the country. And also for training the teachers who will come and stand in the place of your teachers to train the students in our STEM schools. This is the way to the future, and I'm determined that we grab the future, and I want your help in order for us to do so, that we can seize the future so that our country can get the lift up that all of us want.
The students encourage their counterpart in other schools to also strive to achieve excellence in connecting science to society. They say it is enjoyable to be curious and creative.
Well, from that exciting news, we'll move our attention to some other news stories, because Roads and Highways Minister, Mr. Kwesi Amoah-Akwanta, has directed 2 private contractors at North Legon IPMC and Atomic Junction to stop work. The projects by these contractors is obstructing and destroying asphalted roads and storm drains in the area. The minister has therefore given them a 1-week ultimatum to stop work or face the law.
Stop this project and come here on inspection. Inform whoever is undertaking this type of construction and notify them in writing that I have come here today to stop work. If within a week it continues, bring it to my attention, and the owner will see what will happen here within 1 week. Yeah? This construction is a danger to national safety. And if there should be any rainfall, and we don't even know the amount of water, the volume of it that will be passing under this construction here, and even the quality of work. This is dangerous, and it should be stopped immediately. And I order stoppage.
Two suspected robbers have been killed and 4 others arrested for their alleged involvement in highway robberies and killings along the Kintampo-Bupe-Tamale Highway. A statement from the police said preliminary investigations suggest that these suspects were behind many robberies, including the killing of an international journalist, Said Tale Ahmed. According to the police, the 2 slain robbers, identified as Hamidu Umar and Hadu, were killed after a gun battle with the police intelligence and operational teams. The detained suspects have been identified as Saju Bukari, Rector Sabi, Al Amadu and Isad Seidu. The intelligence-led operations by the Special Anti-Robbery Task Force led to the retrieval of 2 locally manufactured pistols and live cartridges, machetes, bayonets, pepper spray cans and stun guns. Some items, including mobile phones and motorbikes suspected to have been stolen, were retrieved. The statement says the police administration has instituted some rigorous measures to effectively combat serious crimes that have plagued the area over the last few years.
More than 3,000 hectares of coconut trees in the Jomoro municipality of the Western region have been affected and destroyed by the Cape St. Paul Wills disease. Officials say if the disease continues to ravage many coconut trees, it may eventually collapse the coconut industry, deprive communities of livelihoods, and increase poverty and social vices in the coastal area.
The coconut industry is the mainstay of most people in Jomoro, and its collapse wouldn't help in socio-economic advancement of the municipality. In a phone interview with the Jomoro Municipal Agriculture Officer, Mr. Dominic Nyanzu, he said the only solution is to identify and cut down the affected coconut trees as carried out in the cocoa sector. He also called for compensation for affected farmers.
It is a virus-infested disease. We're looking how to get a disease tolerant for our farmers so that they can rehabilitate their farms. The only solution to arrest the virus disease is to do a breeding program. This Cape St. Paul well disease started in 1835, and it has been with us. It has devastated the coconut industry, Shama, Ahanta West, Nzima East, Lembele, and it is now in Jomoro, and Jomoro is the largest producer of coconut. So we are recommending that if government can come to the aid of the coconut farmers, as it is done to the cocoa industry, where when they identify a swollen shoot disease, the cocoa is cut down, replanted, and some small package is given to the farmer for sustenance.
He is also calling on stakeholders to turn attention to and address the matter with all urgency. He also called for research to come out with a more tolerant variety that could withstand the disease. Mr. Dominic Nyanzu further suggested that the government's initiative on the cocoa sector, the Cocoa Rehabilitation Program, could be replicated in the coconut sector to help find a lasting solution to the menace.
A 3-hour downpour has left some parts of Tamale in the northern region flooded. The development has also exposed the poor drainage system in the metropolis. Homes, roads, filling stations were inundated with water. The situation in the regional capital reflects the increasing challenges faced by residents in rural communities of the northern region prior to the pending opening of the Bagri Dam, which is expected to worsen the situation in the coming days. Mutala Isa, our northern regional correspondent, in a phone interview said residents along the Bagri Spillage Way have started evacuating, even though others are hesitant.
It's been raining in Tamale from 8 a.m. Certain parts of Tamale are still witnessing rainfall as I speak now. Large portions of the metropolis, the rains have stopped. But it left in its way serious flooding in certain parts of the metropolis. For example, Sawaba, Viting, Fu, and then in Gumani in the Sanagu municipality. These areas, homes, shops, filling stations have all been flooded. And as you move around, you find residents trying to scoop water out of their bedrooms, from their sitting rooms, their kitchens, and stores. Some portions of the metropolis also witnessed brief cut-offs. The highways were covered with water, but since the rain stopped, most of these portions have been opened again because the water and traffic resumed.
In other news, a number of people have been arrested and jailed for stealing railway equipment such as steel sleepers and railway lines. Cases on other suspects are pending in court. The Deputy Minister for the Ministry of Railway Development, Mr. Kweku Asante-Boateng, disclosed this when he took newsmen to inspect the stolen items being kept at various police stations in the Ashanti region.
Suspects stole the railway equipment around Kumasi, Ejisu, Konongo, Jwasu in Ashanti, and in Koko and Enyinem in the eastern region. The railway service has been out of operation for many years. A few years ago, government embarked on efforts to revamp the sector, considering its strategic position in the transport sector and economic development. Rehabilitation and expansion of the railway network then began. Items stolen run into millions of Ghana cedis. The Deputy Minister for Railway Development, Mr. Kweku Asante-Boateng, was worried about the development and appealed to Ghanaians to help expose the criminals. He said the steel sleepers, though parts of the old lines, could still be reactivated to run parallel with the new ones.
We have about 8-kilometer stretch of the railway lines removed by this syndicate, and it's something that is very worrying.
The Idrisu Divisional Police Commander, ACP Stephen Tani Ingisa, said the criminals have stolen almost 8 kilometers of the Drasu Konongo and the DSU stretch of the railway network.
On 24th of May, we had an information that some people are trying to smuggle relays. So we quickly proceeded to the place. Unfortunately, upon reaching there, the criminals have taken to their heads.
You have been watching the major news at 7, live on GTV on GBC News. We are back after this break.
It's GTP, the name behind authentic and original Ghanaian textile prints,
and West Africa's leading print and textile brand.
Step out in style in any GTP fabric.
Classy, head-turning, elegant, snazzy.
GBC newscasters are cloaked by GTP.
The outfits are designed by Joanna Fashions, Nyaniba Estates, B Vogue and Designs, Kaswa,
and Alan David Collections, Havana in Accra.
There are many things to love about Ghana. Ghana is God. And now, there's one more. Your favorite Manchi Milk Shortcake is now made in Ghana. If you wanna own Munchie to happiness, this advert is FDA approved.
A high-sense factory direct promo. F Papa ni binye. Yentri nyinam kania no nie. High sense. What the now they are sell. I didn't know here. TV, fridge, freezer, air conditioner, gas cooker, washing machine, smartphone, sound system, water dispenser, microwave, blender, rice cooker, kettle, and iron. Wakukudropo rice and showroom beer. Visit 30th August. I'm coming 3rd September. Be way showroom no. Your turn of factory direct price. Said your turn no. Sana your turn. It's in your madada no. Emma light bill kuno. First baby. Never jifufu. I have 5 days bill. It's one pound.
fact behind the figures program of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Managing Director of Bayport, Mr. Kwesi Abuaje, said the company's digital strategy contributed significantly to cost containment and will continue to do so in the future. Bayport also maintained its #1 position in the government payroll lending space with 17.3% market share.
COVID-19 has brought about a spread of innovative hand-washing facilities and other hand-washing products by the private sector. In view of this, the government, through the Ghana Enterprises Agency, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, and with support from the UNICEF Wash Program, organized a 2-day hand hygiene fair in Accra. It displayed hand-washing products, created opportunity for business advice, networking, and offered the exposure for small businesses in the sanitation and hygiene market. It's a pervasive virus, COVID-19, and other communicable diseases are a stark reminder of the need to work together to attain the targets of Sustainable Development Goal 6. The fast-spreading virus and its effects has given Ghana the opportunity to build on and make hand-washing a social norm during the recovery and post-recovery periods. This means making sustainable hand hygiene products such as improved hand-washing facilities, regular supply of water, soap and hand sanitizer accessible for all is a must. And this is where the private sector, particularly MSMEs, step in to support the building of a strong and sustainable local market, provide inspirational and affordable products and services for all contexts and settings without compromising on quality. The Ghana Enterprises Agency says for businesses to grow, more than direct business support, better structured enabling environment are key, and so the agency strives to keep partnerships that support the growth of MSMEs across all sectors. The GEA, with other partners, have supported various beneficiaries in the 5 selected project regions through various interventions, supported 300 village savings and loans associations in business development service and 267 latrine artisans, including those from Yendi, KJB and Pandai. The chief executive of GEA, Mrs. Kosi Yankee Aye, said the module for coordinated support for MSMEs within the sector involves helping to stimulate local markets and homegrown private sector solutions for WASH.
For us at Ghana Enterprises Agency, our mandate to transform businesses, the micro, small and medium enterprises, support entrepreneurs to build their business is very, very relevant, and very, very relevant in this sector of WASH.
The Chief WASH, UNICEF Ghana, Mr. Ramesh Raj Bhusal, said the first goal is to facilitate an improved production and supply chain for affordable and accessible hand hygiene products in Ghana. Some manufacturers told GBC News COVID-19 has helped them to be innovative and expand their clientele.
We have the Veronica Bucket and others, and they were all single. Sometimes you see them forming queue. So I decided to put innovation into it. So I made it double.
The mini Akobina Hand Hygiene Fair, which is a prelude to the main event in October 2021, will provide a platform for government to engage the private sector in support of the hand hygiene drive and opportunity to screen and identify innovations that can be supported for scale-up and promotion. The newly elected General Secretary of the Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, Mr. Morgan Ayawini, has promised to seek better conditions of service for Ghanaian workers. Mr. Ayawini said this when he was sworn in, together with 6 other national officers, for a 4-year term at the ICU's 11th Quadrennial Delegates Conference here in Accra.
The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union, ICU, founded in 1960, is the largest union in Ghana with a membership over 100,000 across the country. Mr. Morgan Ayawini, who was elected as the new General Secretary with 6 other national executives, was the immediate past Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations of the ICU Ghana and succeeds Mr. Solomon Kote. The new ICU Ghana General Secretary paid tribute to the past General Secretaries for laying a solid foundation for the current national leadership to build up on. Mr. Ayawini said the union will deepen industrial peace and harmony at the workplace to boost productivity and ensure that workers get decent wages in return.
trade union rights of workers must be respected and upheld in accordance with the laws of the land. May I assure the rank and file and the leadership of all the structures within the union that the new national leadership will dedicate ourselves to steer the affairs of the union and do things right to the best of our ability, and I have the conviction that with the support of NEC, staff, members of the union, we will be able to deliver on the mandate that has been entrusted to us.
The immediate past ICU Ghana General Secretary, Mr. Solomon Kote, said he was happy serving the union for 8 years and was glad to see the zeal at which the new leadership are poised to lead the union to greater heights. He called on the new leadership to be united and work as a team.
You're still watching the business segment of News Hour. Let's have the performance of the local currency on the forex markets and the price of gold, cocoa and light good from the Commodity Board. And that's it for the business segment, proudly brought to you by MTN everywhere you go. The energy segment is next. Please do stay. Young women whose stories
Good evening and welcome to the Energy segment. I'm Dominic Hoji. The Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Benjamin Nyaku, says Ghana's nuclear power program is estimated to generate $1.2 billion through local industry participation during its implementation. He said the amount is a projection based on 1,000 megawatts nuclear power plant construction, which is exclusive of the benefits that will be accrued when the nuclear power plant becomes operational. Professor Nyaku was speaking at this year's Ghana Industrial Summit and Exhibition in Accra.
Professor Nyaku explained that industrial involvement is one of the 19 infrastructure issues of the International Atomic Energy Agency's recommended milestone approach to develop a nuclear power program. He says a beginner country is expected to generate at least 20% local content and local participation in the nuclear power project. Professor Nyaku explained that if one considers a $6 billion nuclear power project, 20% is very significant and would be a huge boost to the local industry. He therefore called for the strengthening of the partnership between the Association of Ghana Industries AGI and the Ghana Nuclear Power Program Organization to prevent the reliance on foreign companies for goods and services to the nuclear power project. President Nyako said as Ghana works to add nuclear power to its energy generation mix, it is essential that the capacity of Ghanaian-owned industries is built to enable them to meet standards and specifications. In view of this, the Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission stressed the need for local industries to be well equipped to benefit from the implementation of the nuclear power project.
The International Energy Agency, IEA, says over the last decade, a variety of support policies for electric vehicles were instituted in key markets which helped stimulate major expansion of electric car models. It says globally 10 million vehicles were on the roads in 2020. This is in its 2021 Global Electric Vehicle Outlook. The IEA stated that sales of electric cars were about 4.6% of total car sales around the world as the availability of electric vehicles increased and new initiatives for critical battery technology were launched. The International Energy Agency, IEA, said challenges to the progress of electric vehicles remain enormous, and to reach a trajectory consistent with the IEA Sustainable Development Scenario, it will require putting 230 million electric vehicles on the world's roads by 2030. The agency said for electric vehicles to unleash their potential to combat climate change, the 2020s must be the decade of mass adoption of electric light-duty vehicles. In addition, specific policy support and model expansion for the medium and heavy-duty vehicle segments will be crucial to mitigate emissions and make progress towards climate goals. The report said convenient and affordable public accessible chargers will be increasingly important as electric vehicles scale up. To help address this, government must continue to provide support for electric vehicles charging infrastructure through measures such as direct investment to install publicly accessible chargers or incentives for electric vehicle owners to install charging points at home. In some places, building codes may require new construction or substantial remodels to include charging points, for example, in apartment blocks and retail establishments. And that's it for the energy segment. I'm Dominic Honoji.
Rita Buna. The duo traded series of body shots and jabs in what was a high-octane encounter. The highlight of the day was the bout between two female boxers from the under-10 category.
That was sports news brought to us by Poster Joy and Shield Paints from Azar.
Again, lifted the flag of Ghana high. He becomes the only Ghanaian on the top 10 list of most streamed African artists on Spotify. One of the world's popular online music platforms, Spotify released the top 10 artists in Africa with the most streams. Making it to the list with significant numbers, Fused ODG became the only Ghanaian artist on the list in Africa with over 1 billion streams. It was a sterling performance by these two Ghanaian music giants, Stonebwoy and King Promise, at the 2021 edition of the Yam Festival. Though the event had a thrilling performance from top stars including Binima, Davido, Kelani, Kofi, the highlight of the show was when Ghana's Stonebwoy and King Promise stormed the stage to perform their top song. The program was held at Clapham Common, South London on Bank.
And Fused ODG will not be happy with you, Clara.
I'm
we'll
sorry
be back
about that, Fused ODG.
We'll be back at 10 with more news. Please stay with us here on GBC News as we have more programs coming up. Moment Tonight is next.
See you.